First things first, how are you?
Good. Good, how are you?
I'm alright, thanks. Well, before we talk about the record, I'd like to go back a bit. Well, Chris, let me start with you. What was the first record that you bought?
First record that I bought was probably, I don't know, maybe Alanis Morissette. I was like 12 or 11. I don't know. Whatever was out. Maybe The Offspring, maybe Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't know. Something of that time.
Oh, so it
mid-90s.
When did music become something particular for you then, where you look up stuff instead of just listening to what was on?
What was there?
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it was when I first was able to download music.
Okay.
Which was kind of a crazy thing. It was brand new to be able to look something up and actually download it.
Mm-hmm.
And so people would recommend things, I would look it up and see if I could find it for free at first, you know. But other than that, it was whatever my family would, you know, my sister would be listening to something and introduce me, have a CD, or my dad would show me a CD or something.
Were there certain types of music or certain bands that caught your attention?
It was all kinds. I mean, I loved Cream and Led Zeppelin and the Beatles, but then I loved like hip hop, you know, Notorious B.I.G. and like Red Hot Chili Peppers and Rage Against the Machine even. You know, I appreciated what they were doing, and then like Black Sabbath and I don't know, No Doubt.
So quite eclectic.
You know? Yeah, it was like a wide variety of stuff that I was hearing in the same couple years.
And for you, Tash, was it the same, where you just pick up music as you went along, or were you particular in what you listened to?
No, I mean, I similar. Grew up in the 90s in New York, so it was Biggie and you know, Nas and Jay-Z. And the radio. I had Jagged Little Pill, Alanis Morissette. Listened to a lot of Motown growing up. Listened to whatever felt good. Listened to a lot of world music. I grew up with a babysitter who listened to La Mega Se Pega. It's a New York station. So
yeah, all
different kinds of influences.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah.
And am I right in saying that you started playing the drums?
Yeah, I mean, that was like my first instrument. Yeah, that's true. I did. Took my first lesson at 3.
Okay.
And then loved rhythmic stuff, and then started again at 8 when I started guitar. And then, then fell in love with the guitar a little bit more. And then got more interested in music eventually.
Do you ever still drum, or was it just a little thing you did when you were quite young?
I play a lot more guitar now.
Fair enough. But
you can still play though.
Not good.
Don't let him fool you.
But you say that when you picked up the guitar, then music started taking on a different role for you. For you, Chris, was it the same when you started picking up the drums?
It was different, yeah. I started listening to drummers because I wanted to get good at the instrument. So I would tune into it and be like, whoa, what's that person doing? Started learning a lot more. And then rhythms would come out. Like, I mean, I spent a lot of time in the Caribbean as a kid. My family's from there, so I heard a lot of reggae and calypso. And I would start playing drums. Like, where's all this stuff coming from? I, found rhythms that I just grew up with that I didn't even know were there. But I approached it differently as a drummer than listening to stuff as just, listening to the radio.
Can you give me an example of a drummer that was...
A drummer that influenced me? I don't know. Like when I first started playing, first picked up the drums like 16 years ago, I don't know. John Bonham was a pretty big one, I think. That kind of opened my mind a little bit to what you could do with a drum set. But Ringo Starr too. But I didn't realize it at the time, Everybody knows Beatles songs.
Right.
But I never thought about it from a drummer's perspective. But it was all in there. It was all just from hearing it.
And for both of you, then, because you start to master your instruments, when does playing in bands come into it? Was it a gradual thing, or was your mind set on playing in bands?
I wanted to start right away. That's me personally. I was like, within 3 months of playing the instrument, I was like, let's start a band. That was the thing to do. That was the whole point for me, of like really practicing drum set. I wanted to play with other people, you know, because I would hear melodies all the time. Playing as a drummer alone,
right?
Like, I'm not gonna sit there and play a song on drums over and over and over and over. I wanted to play with people. So that, for me, that was a payoff, playing with other people early on.
Okay.
I didn't really have a concept of bands that much. I mean, playing, it took me a little bit of time, and had like a really crappy like bands, like played 2 songs or something like that, but it was cool. And then we play other people's music, and kind of falling in love with music over time. The more maturity you get and the more life experience you have. And then high school was all about band. I mean, it's all about bands, like playing in bands in New York, around the city, and you know, that's just what you do. If you want to play with other people and you play your instrument and you want to be expressive, and then we met each other and it was like, oh, we're both expressing ourselves. Not everybody that plays an instrument uses it as a form of self-expression in a way that is conversational, and that's what we found.
Yeah, what was that click between you? Was it just what you mentioned, or was it musically in terms of influences as well? Or
I think it was a sensibility thing, just musical approach.
Okay.
We both like to improvise, and I think we both had a musical identity of our own pretty early on, so we learned how to communicate that. You know, it wasn't about just playing a song verbatim, you know, note for note. Like, oh, what song do you know? Oh, I know this song. And you play it like a cover band.
Right.
That's what a lot of people were doing. We liked to. We would have songs that we knew that we loved, and we could play them, but we used them as a vehicle to say something, and then we started kind of a musical conversation. Not a lot of people were actually ready to do that.
What were you trying to express at that point?
I mean, that's inexplicable. It's kind of like you find, you sort of, I mean, for me personally, I feel lucky that when I was young when you started music, so it's not really that preconceptual.
Right.
If on your own you find a relationship with music, it then becomes a vehicle for self-expression if you're lucky enough. And for us, like I said, we found that ongoing conversation. We're able to express ourselves through our instruments. So really, it's just personal expression. It's not like, you know, we had a manifesto or something.
It's not a 5-year plan.
It's not a 5-year plan. It's not a goal plan. It's not, you know.
But we had songs. We did. We wrote songs early.
Yeah. Was it straight from when you met each other?
Yeah,
that you
pretty early on.
Definitely. Yeah.
We were composing right away.
Okay.
And you know, then the songwriting grew as we grew. But it was from the beginning. We didn't start as like just cover band. We wanted to write songs.
No, we knew that songwriting was another form of self-expression. By the time we were really solidifying the group, that was another avenue, not just playing live. It was like we're gonna have these songs, and they're gonna be original, and it's gonna be another way to have our own voice.
And so when it comes to performing these songs live, when it is part of your self-expression, was that an easy thing to do?
It was natural.
Yeah.
Oh, it was easy.
Yeah, you just have to do it. It's one of those things we were just gonna do.
Yeah, it depends, because playing live is, you know, there's all sorts of crap to deal with. There's all sorts of sound issues and like technological issues when you're dealing with playing electric instruments in rooms, and figuring out how to sound good took a long time. I think, you know, it was the expression was always there, but then listening back to recordings of shows, it's like, that's not really what I was trying to do.
Right.
And so finding the right approach live like that, I would not say it was easy.
Was there a turning point then where after a certain moment you thought, well, this is kind of what we wanted to do?
Or
was it something gradual? More?
I don't know.
I think the instincts were always there, because that's how you know when things are off, when you hear them back, and then you realize that's not what you mean to express, or that's not what you are even putting out there. Right. So fortunately, we kind of had that inner sort of instinct. Yeah, it was just a matter of gaining control over what we were putting, you know,
Right.
our sound and what we were doing.
I'm trying to think if there's like a moment where I kind of realized.
I hope we're still realizing it. I hope
Yeah,
it's still
yeah.
an ongoing thing.
I would say it's probably gradual.
Yeah.
If you listen now back to the debut record, then what do you hear after completing the second record and years have gone by?
I hear where we were at the time.
Okay.
And there was 3 of us, and we were playing live, not touring as much as we are now. And we, you know, essentially it's just a presentation of that moment. The record now is much more about the songs, and it's not like a live presentation. It's not the way that we play it live. It's, you know, it is in its own moment, but it's totally different.
Yeah, they're both. Every record's made in its own kind of moment. I think that's how we make records. We've never been a canned band. Every track on all the records, we start with a basic live recording. So we're in the room playing the records live, so that you feel like when you're listening to it, hey, these are people like making this.
Right.
So from the first record to the next record, it shows song growth. It shows maturity. It shows, I think, guys who are more, I think, better at their, you know, at expressing themselves through their instruments and through their songs. A moment in time, but it definitely still has a live feel. When we play live now, there's just a ton of freedom and a lot more experience.
Yeah, certainly more than the first record.
Yeah.